So, you want to get on a plane in the United States and travel state to state with firearms, do you? The process isn't hard, but you gotta know what you're doing. So let's talk about that. Hey Aspers, it's John with today's Active Self-Protection Extra lesson on flying with firearms. I do this pretty regularly because I travel all over the place to teach classes. The Survive the Fight tour is going strong. We're gonna have, I think, about 8 or 9 different tour stops in 2018. So check the Facebook page on the events tab for Survive the Fight tour stops near you. And every time I do, or we go to the NRA annual meetings, we go to the, this year we went to the Carry Guard Expo, wherever I'm going, I'm flying with firearms. It's not as hard as you think, but you gotta know what the laws are. First thing you gotta do is you gotta get your Google Foo on here, friends. You gotta look at the TSA website. So if you just Google TSA regulations on firearms, it comes right up. Read those. Actually read them. Know them because they're important. You also have to look up the airline regulations that you're flying on because every airline is a little different, and this is where you can get into trouble. Particularly, and in this instance that I'm going to show you today, some airlines don't mind if you have ammunition loaded in magazines, and some airlines do not allow that. That is totally a case-by-case basis. I'm going to give you a for instance. I'm flying Southwest today, and they don't care. I flew American Airlines a couple of months ago, and they did care, and I ended up throwing out a bunch of ammunition. So check your airline for what their policy is. Once again, you find that with the Googles. So I'm going to talk to you about what TSA says because you have to check what the individual airline is. The first thing every airline is going to require of you is a hard-sided locked case. A hard-sided locked case. Whether this is considered your bag or you put this in your checked bag, you have to have a hard-sided case that the firearm or firearms are locked inside with secure locks. Now, if you go read the TSA website on this, and if you go look at the airline regulations, the locks that they want on your gun case must not be TSA opening locks. They shouldn't have the little TSA logo on them that the TSA can get in there. They want you and you only to have the key for the locks. They don't have to be impressive. I just bought these, little master locks on Amazon and they work just fine. So you just gotta, find the one that works right for you. Now, it doesn't have to be a big old case either. If I'm only transporting one gun, oftentimes I use this Winchester. You can see it's all dusty because I generally transport more than one firearm now, so I need a little bit more room. But if you're only transporting one gun, something like this can work. Heck, you can go down to something as tiny as something like this little snap safe if you want to. If your pistol will fit in it unloaded, then you're in a good place. But like I said, I carry this big one around all the time because I generally carry a lot of stuff. And since I have a lot of stuff, this is the one that I use most often. So I'll show you how to pack it from here. So the biggest thing that you gotta have, firearms have to be unloaded. Now you can see I got a lot of open real estate in this one. I could use a whole lot of that up as well. But what you see here is that it securely packs the firearms. It keeps them from moving around inside this case. That's incredibly important. Firearms have to be unloaded. Some carriers will make you showcase that. Other ones will just ask you to verify that it has been. These ones have been unloaded before they got put in the box. Next, here's one. You could put magazines in there, no problem, but by TSA guidelines, if the magazines are loaded, they can't be loose. They have to be secure and they have to be kept where the primer cannot be struck. This is where you get into problems with carriers. I'm flying Southwest today and they don't mind, as of the making of this video, November 2017, they don't mind ammunition in magazines as long as it's kept securely. American, I know, as of November 2017, does not allow that. And so therefore, if you're going to fly with magazines and you're wondering about ammunition, check the manufacturer, the airline rather, check the airline's website. As far as ammo, everybody says if you have ammunition that is in a box, it needs to not be loose. If it's not in a magazine, it can't be loose. And so you have to put it either in some kind of secure storage or in the manufacturer's box. These are my HSTs, my carry ammo, and so they stay in a box. Now you can put other stuff in here as well. You can see I've got my holster in here. I have my knife that I carry all the time. Put it in here just for security's sake. You can put other valuables in here if you want, but this is what you have to have by TSA in order to get where you're going. After that, it's pretty simple. All you got to do is walk up to the check-in counter. When the agent says, "Hi, how can I help you?" You just roll up with your bag and say, "Hi, I have a firearm to check." They'll have you fill out a little form, usually stick it on the outside of the box, sometimes on the inside of the box. Again, it varies carrier by carrier. And then they'll have you walk over to TSA and then you'll wait around. Some airports, I've actually seen them do it. They're supposed to actually have you inspect and be there to watch. And in some places they use an automated process, so they just make you stand around for a few minutes. But if you do it right, if the bag is packed correctly, firearms are unloaded, ammunition is secured, it doesn't have more than 11 pounds total of ammunition in it, and everything is according to guidelines, then you should be good to go. One last thing, it's of critical importance. Just make sure that you are following all local laws, not only from where you're traveling, but to where you're going to. I've seen people try to take firearms into places that they weren't allowed, and then they get in trouble on that end when they go to pick up their firearms. So just make sure that whatever it is you're taking is legal in the place where you're going. Follow these rules. Traveling with firearms is a real piece of cake. So don't forget to take your firearms with you when you go to your next destination.